Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Thanksgiving is here. Have yourselves a very happy Thanksgiving. But DraftKings, as always on Thanksgiving, has a special 3-game slate. There is a millionaire maker on this slate. We're going to talk about the 3-game slate. I'll go kind of individually, quickly, game by game, and we're going to build a lineup for the millionaire maker tournament there. There is also going to be showdown slates. I can't put out content for every single showdown game. But our content for showdowns is the same as it always is. Make sure you correlate your lineups. If you needed the idea of how to do that, look at every single showdown video I did, or go to the How to Win on DraftKings playlist that I have on the channel, and it'll go over the hows and the whys of decisions that you make in showdown. And you have 3 chances to capitalize on Thanksgiving. But we're going to focus on the main Thanksgiving slate. The 3 games: Bears against the Lions, Raiders and the Cowboys, Bills and the Saints. Kind of a poopy Thanksgiving slate this year. Not very exciting. The Saints and the Bills could be great, but also 2 very good defenses. A lot of the focus is going to be on that Raiders-Cowboys game. Highest total on the slate. Cowboys favored by 7. And then we have Bears and Lions kicking everything off. So what better way to spend Thanksgiving than with the Bears against the Lions? But anyway, there's money to be won. So why shouldn't we be the ones who go out and win it? So let's get to it. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a message down below in the comments, and let me know what you are doing for Thanksgiving. Let me know what your favorite food to eat on Thanksgiving is, and no damn shrimp lo mein comments. All right? It's enough already with the shrimp lo mein. Let's go.
He's a legend.
Thanksgiving means that NFL is almost over, and for those of you who have crossed over to NBA, I would like to suggest that you use the established the run projections, what I believe are the best set of projections, most accurate and most picked over. Like Drew and Mike and everybody over on the ETR team, Gallagher and Wiggins do a fantastic job every single day of manicuring these projections up to and beyond lock. As NBA, you really have to be on top of everything. And if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't possibly do all of that work and be ready to play an NBA slate. So ETR kind of does the work for you and gets you prepared every single night for NBA. $5.99 for the bundle between their player props package, which they are crushing this year if you're in a state that has sports betting. Or if you just play daily fantasy, $3.99 for the season. That goes all the way up until the NBA finals. It's like $7 or $8 a week. If you use promo code SMIZLIFE at checkout, you get 10% off of that. If you're a new member to establish a rent, there is a link down below in the pinned comment, smizzle.tv/ETR. That will also get you that 10% off of a new membership. So looking at the Thanksgiving slate, as I said, 3 games. Let's focus on the first one first. Chicago and Detroit. Justin Fields, bruised ribs, we don't know, and Nagy's never going to tell us who the starter is going to be. Fields always has the upside of somebody who could be very viable, especially on a smaller slate when there aren't as many quarterbacks out there to be the guy that you might need, especially due to the emergence lately of one Darnell Mooney. 16 targets last week. Like, this kid is hyper talented, although his usage has fluctuated all over the place. 8, 5, 9, 6, 16. Big playability, really high ADOT, can break a slate if he gets if they connect with him once or twice. And Dalton did not look bad in relief of Fields, although he did not complete a ton of passes. Hit that 60-yarder to Goodwin and hit the long one to Mooney as well on a short screen pass where Mooney made all the moves and took it deep. Jared Goff, we have to monitor this. He was inactive Sunday. There's no way he comes back, I don't think. Right? Like, he's listed as questionable for Thursday, but based on Stefania's statements, like, oblique injuries typically take like 4 to 6 weeks for pitchers, because oblique injuries aren't things that we normally hear about with quarterbacks. So it's more of a major league pitcher injury, and it takes them 4 to 6 weeks to get back to being able to throw. So maybe it's Tim Boyle week again. Ew. So maybe it's the Bears defense week again. Like, this game has a total of 41.5. Bears are favored by 3.5. Montgomery is only 6K. There's a lot of middling running backs on this slate, and the Lions have not been good against the run. Swift slowly inching up in terms of price. Short slate. And he is 7,300, 136 yards because of the long 57-yard touchdown that he broke against Cleveland. Pittsburgh, the tie, he touched the ball a ton. You know that his workload is going to be safe and secure, and they're going to have to dump down to him no matter who the quarterback is this week. At wide receiver, there just ain't much, right? Allen Robinson was on our do not draft list this year because I didn't think it was going to be like this bad. I love Allen Robinson as a player, but like they threw the ball so much last year and they were projected to not throw it as much this year that Allen Robinson was definitely set to dip off of that second round ADP, and we were avoiding him at all costs during draft season. But like I thought he'd be viable week in or week out on, you know, on DraftKings, but like he just hasn't been. At tight end, Komet put up a big old 2.2 points last week when he was one of the chalk players at tight end in high stakes cash. He remains a release valve at tight end this week. Hawkinson at 5,200, yo-yo player, right? Like could put up a 20 to 25 point day, or like he could put up dust like he did against Pittsburgh. This is just an ugly game, guys. It's like maybe like the old statement, right? Jimmy Graham in a GPP. Sure. Moving on to the next game. This is where most of the play is going to come through. And it's going to get you off of the low played guys. There's a possibility, there always is, that somebody from Chicago, Detroit's going to have 25 to 35 points in the early game. But realistically, most of the scoring is going to come from these later two games. So you should probably concentrate a lot of your play to those games, unless you're thinking maybe defense. I'm going to have a lineup that's going to include players from all three games. You can completely fade that Chicago Detroit if you want. And if you're going to build a lot of lineups like me, I'm going to put my 150 in the Millionaire Maker. It's very viable to build lineups that just ignore it altogether. So quarterbacks in this game, Dak Prescott. We want Dak throwing it 40 plus times, but we want him being more efficient than he was against the Chiefs. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 5.64 DraftKings points. It's got to be a bounce back here, right? It just does. Has to be a bounce back in this spot. Derek Carr also coming off of a bad week. Doesn't really have the ceiling possibilities that I would want from a quarterback on this slate. Doesn't run. Very unlikely that he throws 4 touchdowns. Multiple touchdowns are in play, but 4 way less likely. He does give you salary relief, but like just based on the nature of this offense, there's no real downfield threats for Las Vegas right now outside of Deshaun Jackson, if he even gets on the field for any snaps. Like, you know, I'm leaving the Rams because I'm not being played enough, and he goes to the Raiders where he's not being played at all. Bryan Edwards might as well not have been played. F. And like Hunter Renfrow, the fall guy, getting targeted in the middle of the field and down. Obviously, the tight end Waller has been fantastic, but not like he's one of the top 3-4 fantasy tight ends in the league. But aside from that week 1 performance, he has not gotten peppered with the amount of targets that we thought he would. He was supposed to be a 10 target a week guy, and he's gotten that 2 times so far this year. Most weeks, 7 or 8 targets headed his way, which is fine. But like for 6,400, he's going to have to fall into the end zone to get there. And when you consider that like Dalton Schultz is consistently getting similar volume, but is on this slate over 1,000 less, especially considering that Amari Cooper going to be out because of COVID-19 reasons, and CeeDee Lamb got a concussion, so we don't know if he's going to be active or available for this game. The Cowboys are going to have to get a little bit creative. Michael Gallup, 5.9. We're going to see, in the absence of both Lamb and so possibly Lamb out, and in the absence of Cooper, Ced Wilson's going to run a lot more routes and play a lot more snaps. Noah Brown also going to run a lot more routes and play more snaps. What I think we're going to get, though, is more usage creatively with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott together on the field. And judging by the fact that they were down last game, don't look at this 9 carries against Kansas City. You have to consider game script. They were just getting trounced. But again, 12.8 points, 6 targets. Tony Pollard is certainly a thing, but he has not usurped the job. Though I think if both of their primary outside receivers are gone, they're going to have to find more ways to get Tony Pollard into the game this week. And the nightcap, the late game, Buffalo against New Orleans, when everybody is laid up in their lazy boys with, with tryptophan poisoning and everything else, all that food in your belly, belt loops loosened, top button undone on your pants, just sitting there watching the game in a tryptophan haze. If Alvin Kamara is back, then Mark Ingram is not viable. If Ingram is the main guy, though, extremely viable play and very much in play, even though Buffalo against running backs has been good. We saw what happened to them last week when Jonathan Taylor and a team that was very committed to the run got out and played from ahead. They don't play from behind very often, but in the games that they have against Tennessee, 146 yards on the ground, 264 yards allowed on the ground last week, 120 against Kansas City, even though they played from ahead in that game. So a lot of the time, looking at how teams run the ball, when you play from ahead a lot like the Bills do and play from 2 scores ahead, teams just have to abandon the run to keep pace. So the Bills may be exploitable if New Orleans can keep this game close. At quarterback, Simeon's cheap, and we have seen this offense provide us with fantasy relevant quarterbacks. I'd much rather play Simeon, even though the Bills are death to outside wide receivers. There's a lot of ways that this offense can kind of get going. Callaway has been fine. There's just not a lot of volume at tight end. Troutman looked very good this week, but we're going to have to see as he kind of walked out of that game. We'll monitor the injury as it goes along. And on the other side, the touchdowns have fully regressed for Stefon Diggs, with 5 over the last 5 games after scoring 1 in the first 5 games. Touchdowns galore with his amount of air yards, target market share, and end zone targets. Steph Diggs has been basically the alpha that he is. Cole Beasley is going to be a yo-yo for you, as well as Emmanuel Sanders going to be a yo-yo for you. Sanders higher ADOT, bigger splash plays. Beasley the higher floor play. Neither of them really game breakers. It's 100% on Diggs. And now with Dawson Knox back at 4,400, like him a lot because of the usage he was getting before the injury and the propensity for Josh Allen to throw to his tight ends. Allen at 7,800 on this slate. So I'm going to build a quick lineup for you here based on our the lineup strategies that I like to use. If you don't want to use them, don't build a lineup that way. You can play however you want to play. I just play how I play because mathematically it puts me in the best position to finish in the top 1% of the field, giving me a chance to win a Millionaire Maker. So I'm going to start with Dak Prescott. I am going to double stack Dak. Let's focus on this game. I'm going to double stack Dak, assuming that both of them are out. Gallup is going to get a lot of service this week. I'm going to go to Dalton Schultz there. We're going to bring this back with Hunter Renfrow. Bringing it back with a double on a short slate, like a 3-game slate, is certainly viable, but I'm going to stick to our normal rules that we do. If you wanted to come back with 2 players, you're allowed to break the rules on a 3-game slate. If you want a single stack and double bring back, go for it. Totally viable. It's a different play than on a 10, 11, or 12-game slate when you're playing on a short slate like this one. Let's get a couple players from Chicago and Detroit. I'm going to play the Lions defense, either against Dalton or against Fields, and you can play players against your defense because of the short slate possibilities. Let's plug in, let's put Swift in there because he's been awesome. We're going to put Mooney at wide receiver because he's been awesome. I'm going to go to the late game, find me a running back, and it's going to be Mark Ingram at 6,200. Here's the thing, though. Here's my caveat and disclaimer. If Alvin Kamara is playing, don't play Melvin Ingram. If Alvin Kamara is not playing, don't play Alvin Kamara. Very simple and straightforward. That's going to leave us with how much? 4,700. So we'll go to wideout. I'm going to have enough money left to play Cole Beasley in this spot. Put your latest playing player in that flex spot. Dak Prescott, Swift, Ingram, Gallup, Renfrow, Mooney, Schultz, Beasley, and the Lions D. I hope that you have a fantastic time. Enjoy the food, the family, the friendship, and the fun. And definitely enjoy the football this Thanksgiving. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like, subscribe, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
He's a legend.